Yo, 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 what's up, everybody? I hope you guys are doing super good. I hope everyone has had a great weekend. I'm going to be going over some of my trades from last week. I'm going to go kind of through, again, like kind of the way that I look at the market so that you guys can understand it a little bit. It's super simple, it's easy for anyone to understand. Hey, what's up, Meg? I'm just posting quickly. Cool. So I posted for everyone. Now we can get everyone joining. What's going on? Real life. Meg. I know you, Meg. How's it going? Okay. So just in a bit, we're going to go over exactly what I was looking at last week for a bunch of trades and trades that I took inside of my community. And I'm going to explain exactly how I trade this strategy. So one important for you guys to understand is that if you have a really simple strategy, you can do really, really well with trading as long as it's adaptable and replicable. Okay. So I've been trading this strategy for over a year and a half. And with Blue Guardian alone, I've made over $40,000. I've shared that screenshot quite a lot. So in this session today, I'm going to be showing you exactly how to trade that strategy. And I'm going to show you a bunch of examples on how to trade it as well, so that you guys can take it, replicate it for yourself, and go and test it. Go see it work in action. So you'll be seeing that on today's video. Let me just see real quick. Yeah, so over my career with Blue Guardian, I've done over 40K just with Blue Guardian. I did about 20K of that in 2023. And then recently, I did a 20K withdrawal as well. So I'm going to show you some of the trades that I was looking at last week, and I'm going to show you exactly how my trading strategy works today. Hey, what's up, Skiwood? I know you. Calvin, how's it going, bro? So a lot of people like to say that strategy isn't as important as psychology, and I beg to differ. I think that psychology is actually, it is important to have. It's a good companion to a good strategy. But the most important thing is having a good strategy to base that psychology on, because without a strategy that's A, profitable, and B, replicable and consistent, then you're going to miss out anyways. You need a good foundation to build your psychology on top of. Something that's easy to stick to. Because if your strategy is simple, it makes the psychological aspect of trading much easier. For example, if you're trying to get in shape at the gym, if you've got a very simple diet to follow, it's going to be easier to stick to it. If it's complicated and you have to weigh out your food and you have to eat a certain amount of calories to the dot, well, you're probably going to not stick to that. It's too complicated. And it's the same with trading. And that's why I just trade a break and retest. So I simply trade a break and retest at New York Market Open. It also works in London Market Open as well as Asia Session Open. But what I'm going to show you today is New York Session Open, which is my forte. It's my speciality. It's what I enjoy trading, right? So let's have a look. So we are on NQ. That's my baby, right? NQ is the one. So we can see here on Monday, we'll start on Monday last week. This is the session open over here. Let's go back. So we had the open here, right? And what we're looking for first, the first step to trading the strategy is to identify two key zones on either side of price. So we have price here, and we're looking on either side for two zones. Now, what do I look for in zones? That's super simple. We're just looking for V-shaped reactions in and around price. So you can see here, we've also got V-shaped reactions as well, okay? So we've got clear zones. There's also one over here, okay? So what we're gonna be doing now is identifying where the key zones are that are outside of the range and at the extremity. So for that, I'm simply going to mark on this zone here. Why do I like this zone here? Because it's on the extremity, it's outside of the range, it's not within this range, as well as the fact that it has what I like to call buddy candles. So we've got candles with reactions over here and candles with reactions over here. So for me, that makes this a valid zone and not just a pivot in price. Then below, if we look below, we have this here, okay, which is also a valid reaction. And we've also had some reactions here as well previously, which would count as my buddy zone, which validates the trade, okay? So we would also be looking at this zone. So what do I look at to enter my trades? It's super simple. I'm looking for price to break and close above here and or break and close below here. It's that easy. And when I say break and close, it must break and close on the 5-minute time frame. Okay? So what that means is that a full candle must close, the 5-minute time frame must close above. You cannot have the candle just simply wicking out over here, okay, and having the candle, right, push above. And if you get into a trade and the candle has pushed above, and now all of a sudden it wicks out and you end up with this, there is no valid trade because we have not closed above, okay? It must close above, okay? The full candle must close above or below. Once you have this, you need to look for some confirmations. The confirmations that I look for are as follows. I look at the 50 simple moving average. So add the 50 simple moving average to your chart. Super simple. You just go to indicators, search for simple moving average. You get the picture, add it to your chart, right? And select 50 as the length, okay? You will then have this on your chart. You're then only going to take buys if you are above the 50 simple moving average, which of course we are. In this case, we are currently above the 50 simple moving average. Once we break above, we will be above the simple moving average. That's the first confirmation. The second confirmation, once we break and close, so let's see if price breaks and closes. In this case, spoiler alert, it does. We took this trade in my community live on stream. So don't think that I'm cherry picking these trades. These are live trades that I actually took. Let's wait for it to break and close. You can see here, it's resisting that area. Okay, there you go. So we broke and closed above here with this previous candle here. This is a break and closure. So you can see that here it was trying to break, but it did not. And that's where people get faked out. Price pushes lower and takes out their stop losses. So here it broke and closed. This candle has closed above our zone. Now, the second confirmation after we have considered the 50 simple moving average is we need a retest of the zone. We're not going to hop in right away after it breaks and closes. We need price to retest the zone, and then we can get in. So we would get in once price retests the zone, and we use anywhere between 25 and 30 pips stop loss, okay? 30 points, 25 or 30 point stop loss, okay? So for this one, we use 25 because it covers us quite nicely. Again, that's where a bit of discretion is involved. But when you learn to judge volatility in price, you're able to figure out quite well how that works. Again, that's also why we trade it live in my community. So you can see the next candle tags us into the trade and pushes up. What we do for targets is we target 1 to 2 risk reward ratio, and we go break even at the halfway point. So at 1 to 1 risk reward over here at about 25 pips, 25 points, you will then move your stop loss to entry. You can also take 1 to 1 profit at this area. So that is up to you, but you need to choose. You're either a 1 to 1 trader or you're a 1 to 2 risk reward trader. Now, there are benefits to both of these. Okay, if you're a 1 to 2 risk reward trader, overall, according to my data, you will be more profitable. You will make more profit if you are patient and wait for your full target profit at 1 to 2. However, it does mess with your psychology, because when you get to the halfway mark, which would be over here, and you now move your stop loss to break even, then the possibility of price coming back and then taking you out break even and then going back to your 1 to 2 target is quite probable, and it happens often. And so you have to be okay with taking these you have to be okay with taking break even trades often, so that you can get those 1 to 2 risk rewards. If you cannot do that, then what I want you to do is stick to 1 to 1 risk reward ratio. What this means is your win rate goes all the way up, and it means that you don't get FOMO when you get, because there is no break even trades. Because there is no break even trades, there is no FOMO, and there's no management of the trade. So you can enter, set your stop loss, set your take profit over here, and walk away from the chart. And personally, I like to trade this way often, but for the purposes of this video, I will show you guys the full 1 to 2. So here we get to our halfway mark here, and it takes our full 1 to 2 profit over here. Okay, you probably would have even gotten it almost, it would have just grazed you. You would have been a little bit scared here as it came back, but you would have gotten your full 1 to 2 on that trade. So that's how my strategy works. Let's have a look at Tuesday. So this was Monday. Okay, let's have a look at Tuesday. Again, this setup sets up almost every single day, right? A real life asks, are those session indicators? This is just on NQ. So for some reason on NQ, it shows the pre-market time as blue. And as soon as the market opens, it goes black. Don't know why it does that. It doesn't do that on CFD charts for me. It only does it on futures charts, which is weird. So let's go to the next day. I'm going to just go on the 4-hour really quick. Okay. So we're on the next day. Let's go back to the 5-minute. All right, so let's have a look at another example. So here you can see an example of a bearish setup that we had. Well, that was on Wednesday. Let's have a look at Tuesday. Went a bit too far forward. So here's an example of a bearish trade that we had that's set up on the Tuesday. Again, we took this all live in our community, all on stream. So it's not just me cherry picking these trades. We actually took them. And we video record them as well. So there is no room for BS. So essentially, what we look for once again are our zones. And we look at where price has sharply reacted from. Okay, so we've had a sharp reaction here. We've had these over here as well. But what's happening here? We're in the middle of nowhere. We're in the middle of this range. So we can see we have another reaction here, which gives me the confirmation that this is a significant zone here. Okay, and then of course, we've got this below here. Okay, we've got price reacting here, and we have price reacting here as well as here. So we can use those as a guideline for our lower zone. Okay, and what I did was I adjusted it so that it wasn't just this candle here. I adjusted it to include this down here. Okay. So now, once again, all we're looking for is a candle body closure below or a candle body closure above. And then we're looking for our two main confirmations. So let's see. Okay, we resist and then we break below. Okay, so after we break below with a candle body closure, we're then looking for two confirmations. One is, are we below the 50 simple moving average? Yes, we are. The second one is we're looking for price to come back and retest the zone. Okay, at that point, we can get in and take price lower. So we're now fully set up for that trade setup. We then set up our trade and we look for a 1-to-2 risk reward ratio on it. Okay, so price comes up, it wicks. Okay, it just misses our entry there, but we need price to retest. Okay, also just missing once again before it pushes a little bit lower. So it looks like it's coming back up. Now, one thing I want you guys to understand is the concept of catching a falling knife. And when we consider a trade not to be valid anymore. So for me personally, when I see price push past this area, I'm going to start to be cautious of taking a trade when it retests. Why? Because it's like throwing a big metal ball into the sky. If you throw a big metal ball really high into the sky, okay, and it goes really high, you're not going to want to be below it and trying to catch it, okay? Because the higher it goes up, the harder it comes back down. What you want to do is to carry the momentum forward. So if this is your zone over here, you want to hop in as it breaks and take the momentum forward. You don't want to hop in all the way at the top as it's now already changed direction, okay? So the way to gauge that is in a few ways. The first is, has it already gone to target and then come back? That's one way. And another way is viewing how many candles it takes to get back to your area. In this case, it's taken 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to come back. So I'm okay to get in over here. Okay. However, in some cases, we'll have this break, push all the way to the end, and then start to come back in one big fat candle. In which case, you can almost guarantee that it's going to be a stop hunt on that trade. So you have to remember that with this strategy. So with this particular example, we hop into a trade as it comes to retest. Comes to retest and then pushes down lower. Okay, and at this point here, at the halfway mark, right, at a 1-to-1 risk reward, right here, we would be setting our stop loss at the entry price. And then we're aiming for our full 1-to-2 risk reward profit. Okay. And there you go. We end up taking full 1-to-2 risk reward. You would have been a little bit scared here had you not taken profit at 1-to-1, but you do end up getting your 1-to-2. Okay. So let's have a look at another example on Wednesday. Let's go on to Wednesday. Does anyone have any questions? Melinda says, I love this. It's always so good to go over the strategy over and over. I've watched the videos on the Academy and in WAP so much. I'm glad that it's been helpful, Melinda. It's, again, like studying it and going over examples is the best way to learn a strategy and get confident. Because like everyone says, trading psychology is one of the biggest aspects of trading. And the way to conquer trading psychology is by becoming confident. And the way you become confident in your strategy is by going over case studies and collecting data. Melinda, yes, got you. So yeah, if you're able to go over examples, you will get confident in your strategy. And once you start to build confidence, it stops you from chasing trades that don't exist. It stops you from creating opportunities where there are none. It stops you from chasing trades. It stops you from being greedy. It stops you from overtrading. All of these things get fixed when you become confident. What if price doesn't retest? Then there is no trade. The non-negotiables of this strategy is price must be under the SMA for sells and above the SMA for buys. The next non-negotiable is price must retest. If those two things do not happen, we do not have a confirmation and we cannot take the trade. It's as simple as that. That's where patience and not chasing the trade is important. So going over these examples, like I was saying, is super important because it shows you that if you stick to the rules, it works out, right? So here we are on Wednesday, and we're looking at two zones once again. So what are the two zones? Well, we've got a range, right? We've got a range. We're looking at two different zones to potentially trade from. The first is we've had reactions here, 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 and here. So all I'm simply going to do is select the highest point of that. Because they're close to one another, they basically, this is a friend candle to this, and this is a friend candle to that. So again, we have the confirmation of this zone. This area here is confirmed by this reaction here, okay? And once again, why do we not choose this here? Why do we not choose this here? Because we are inside of a bigger range. We do not want to be trading inside of a range. We want to trade the breakout of the range. So we choose this because it is confirmed by this, and it is on the extremity of price, okay? And in one big candle, we push and close below. So what's our first confirmation here? I'd like to know from you guys, what is the first thing we look for once we have broken and closed below? Because I've shown you a couple examples. I want to know what you guys have to say. What are the two confirmations I'm looking for now before I get into any trade? Melinda got it right. The first is the retest. And we're also looking at the 50 simple moving average, which is correct, Holla. So the 50 simple moving average, price is below it, and we have broken and closed below. We're also looking for the retest. So we wait for price to retest. So price will need to retest at this area before we click the sell button, okay? We're going to use a 25-point stop loss, and we're looking for a 1 to 2. Price then comes to retest. It retests and pushes lower. We then wait for price to get to the halfway mark, which will be roughly in this golden area here. Okay, we're not quite there yet. Price is retesting once again. It pushes lower into the golden area, and at that point, we then put our stop loss at break even. You can also take profit at 1-to-1 if you would like. Again, that's up to your personality. You're either a 1-to-1 trader or you're a 1-to-2 trader. If you're patient and you're able to take break even trades without going on tilt or going on and trying to chase another trade because you feel like you missed out, then be a 1-to-2 trader because it's going to benefit you. You're going to make more profit in the long term. However, if you want a higher win rate, just go 1-to-1 because then you're going to get a higher win rate, slightly less profit, but you're not going to be as emotionally charged. You can hop into a trade, not have to manage it at all, just set your stop loss and take profit. And that's why I personally trade 1-to-1 most of the time. I have other accounts that I go 1-to-2 on, depending on where I'm at. So if I'm in an evaluation, I like to go for 1-to-2 because I want to make the most I can make. If I'm on a live funded account, I'm going 1-to-1 because I just want those small profits consistently with a higher win rate. And so then I go 1-to-1. So that's personally how I manage my funded and challenge accounts. So you can see in this example here, we go straight to the profit target. Okay. In this particular example, again, this is the next day. So on Monday we won, Tuesday we won, and Wednesday we won. We took all of these trades live. Okay. So I'm not cherry picking them either. Melinda was there. Meg was there. Holla was there. There's a few people in here that took those trades with me. Meg says she's currently a one-to-one trader. She says, I've tried both, and at the moment, one-to-one works better for me mentally. And this is exactly where I was at as well, Meg, especially if you've got a funded account. So if you manage to pass your evaluation and you have a funded account, you want to be consistent. You want to make small profits over and over and over again and let that compound. That's why one-to-one is great, because you end up winning more often, and you don't need to deal with the idea of seeing lots of profits on your screen that end up going back to zero. Because trust me, seeing a whole bunch of profit on your screen where you get close to your take profit and it comes back to entry is actually worse for me than taking a full loss. I don't know if you guys can agree with that or not. For me personally, taking a break-even trade when I've seen it go almost to profit is way worse than just taking a full stop loss. I don't know if it's just me. Shane says, I prefer 1-2, but it makes sense to do 1-1 on funded. Exactly. You can do 1-2 on both for the strategy. But yeah. Skiwood says, I've also switched to 1-1. Psychology is better. You win more often, and the trades are quicker. You also don't need to manage the trades. You just get in, set and forget, right? That's the beauty of trading 1-1. Stop loss is better than a reversal. Yes. So having price go all the way down here to your take profit, just missing the take profit and coming back, for me, and then taking you out break even is worse than just having price just go straight to stop loss. That's way worse for me, right? Giving back all that profit is the worst. Let's have a look at another example real quick. Right. So let's go to the next day. I don't know if we took a trade on the Thursday. Let's just have a look. I know there was one on Friday. Okay. Bear with me. I'm just getting to the next day. That's the thing I don't like about TradingView's backtesting feature. You can't just skip to the next day. Whereas with FX Replay, you can at least, you can at least do this where you can skip to the next day, which is awesome. So in this particular example, okay, we need to take into account a few things here. So we've had price push down significantly for a couple of days, okay? So we are very bearish. And I've spoken about this before, but the way that I determine the trend is just simply by looking on the 4-hour, okay? So on the 4-hour time frame, we are bullish, okay? Then on the 5-minute time frame, by the way I determine that is simply by looking at the 50 simple moving average. On the 5-minute time frame, what can you guys see immediately? You see this, okay? So what does that mean? It means that price is constantly creating lower lows, okay? And that means that we're bearish on the 5 minutes. So short term, we're bearish. Long term, we're bullish, all right? So buy trades are not highly probable right this second. Okay. So as you can see here, we had this zone print over here. But the reason that I stayed out of getting into this is because we're clearly very bearish. And what we would actually want is for price to exit this whole range. And so what I would be looking at is this zone up here for buys. So personally, I got into no trades here on this Thursday. And also one thing to notice, we spent the entire day under the 50 simple moving average. So for me, no high probability trades unless we pushed above. Is actually the most painful. When price wicks out your stop loss and then goes to full take profit, that's the worst. Although I'll tell you why that is not the worst. The reason that might not be the worst is because at least you were kind of right. You got the direction right. You got the take profit right. You just got your stop loss a little bit wrong. So for me, that's not always the worst. Not always the worst. For me, the worst is giving back all the profit, seeing it on your screen, getting close to your take profit, and then it just going straight to break even. Or even worse, you move your stop loss and you don't get a break even, you get a loss at the end of it, which is the worst. That's one situation that can create serious FOMO. As always, guys, we are going to be giving away 2 50K Blue Guardian accounts today on stream. Just in case you guys didn't know, just in case I didn't mention it previously, we're going to be giving away two 50K Blue Guardian accounts today on stream. We'll probably be doing it in around 10 minutes. So we'll be able to do the draw for that. What I will do, as always, I'm going to ask one question. You guys will answer the question correctly. You cannot spam the chat. If you spam the chat more than once, you will not be qualifying for the draw. I will then randomly, with a random number generator, pick a number, and then I will go up. I will then go up the chat and pick one person. We're going to do that in 10 minutes. Again, if you spam, you will not qualify. Okay, so let's have a look at Friday. So you can see here, on Friday, once again, we had 2 zones that we were looking at. We had this form up here, which for me is a pivot zone. What a pivot zone is simply a zone without a buddy candle. This means that the zone is not confirmed yet. So if price simply pushes in and pushes out of a zone, it's a pivot. If we have price retesting that zone once again, or coming close and reacting, that confirms the zone to be a significant area, and we can then take trades off of it. However, below, you can see that price pushed in to this zone, okay, pushed out, and then pushed in once again, pushed out, pushed in, pushed out, pushed in once again. We also had this back here. So it has been confirmed multiple times. It has many buddy candles for me. So this zone is confirmed as a significant area in which to take trades from. It's a strong area. So what I'm looking for is for price to break and close below here, because this particular zone is just a pivot for me. We don't have any other valid zones except for this zone right here. So I would actually like to see price break and close above this zone over here, because it was the last and most considerable zone with a confirmation to it that we can trade. Okay. So we're waiting for price to break below or break above. You can see price comes below, pushes quite aggressively. And if you zoom in here, you can see that it just breaks below here. It just breaks below. So for me, that's valid. We are below the 50 simple moving average. And now we're looking for the retest. Obviously, the retest is going to happen because we're like less than a point away. We then have a 25-point stop loss. In this case, I'm going to use 30 because it is quite volatile. I need to go the other way around. And once again, what we're shooting for is 1-to-2 risk reward ratio, and we go break even at 1-to-1. So where would our break even point be? Break even point / your first take profit point would be over here at the halfway mark. Okay. So once we get there, it will then be break even / take your first profit. Okay. So you can see here, we push to that area. You would then take your first profit or go break even. And then you can see here, you would have been taken out at break even, or you would have ended up with a 1-to-1. Okay. Badshah asks, is your strategy price action or SMC? My price action has really nothing to do with smart money concepts. It is simply simple price action, break and retest at the New York Open. We're simply looking at market structure and price to break and close and then retest. That's all we're looking for. Alrighty, guys. So in just a second, I'm going to do the giveaway for the 250K Blue Guardian accounts. What I'm going to do is pull up random number generator, and I'm going to ask you guys a question. You guys need to answer the question correctly, and I'm going to pick a random number, 2 random numbers, and go up the chat and pick one person based on that number. So let me think of a question. Let me think of a question real quick. Something that's not too complicated, but people that were listening will be able to answer. Okay. Okay. So when price breaks and closes below my zone. Okay. Again, by the way, guys, if you answer the question more than once, you will be disqualified. So I'm going to ask the question now. You guys are going to answer in the chat, and I'm going to pick a random answer from those answers to win one of the accounts. Okay. I'm going to pick 2 people from those questions. Sorry, from those to answer. If you answer more than once, you will not qualify. Okay. If you spam the chat, you are disqualified. So when price, the question here is, get ready. When price breaks and closes below the zone, there are 2 different confirmations I look for. Name one of those confirmations for me. There are 2 confirmations. What are the 2 confirmations I look for when price breaks and closes below or above? Okay, you guys have 30 seconds or so to answer. Okay. I'm going to let a few more guys answer, and then I'm going to use random number generator to generate a random number and pick one of you guys. Okay, so the answers are in. I'm now going to choose 2 random people. Give me a second. Just generating random number, and then I'm going to go up the chat and pick one. Okay, 24. Okay, and the next one. So I picked one now. Okay, let's go up. Okay, cool. Okay, these are the two winners of the accounts. Congratulations, guys. I'm going to announce them real quick below. What you guys are going to need to do, if you have won, you will need to screenshot the message I'm about to send announcing the winner and send it to the Blue Guardian support and create a support ticket on Blue Guardian's Discord. So open a Discord. You will need to open a Discord ticket in the Blue Guardian Discord. Show them the proof that of this message that I'm about to send in chat, announcing the winner. Prove that it's you, and you'll be able to claim your account. Okay. So congratulations to Melinda and Dennis. You guys won 50K Blue Guardian accounts today. If you guys didn't win, it's all good. There's going to be more streams coming this whole week, okay, with Ralph and Matt. I'm also going to be back next week, same time. So Melinda and Dennis, just screenshot the Guardian TV post now where it says, it announces your names, and then go to the Blue Guardian Discord and open up a support ticket. You will then be able to show them the message, prove that it's you, and claim your account. Congrats, guys. Yes, Dennis, you won. It's you. Take a screenshot of the Guardian TV above the message and send it to the Blue Guardian Discord support. So go to Blue Guardian. You can go to the Blue Guardian website, then join the Discord from there if you're not in already. Send the screenshot to one of the support staff in there, okay, by creating a support ticket. Melinda asks, which account type is best? Depends on if you're going CFD or futures. I would say the best is always, honestly, it depends on you. There's a few different types. They're all decent. Okay, the ones that Blue Guardian offer are decent. There's none that I would stay away from. So go through the different criteria for each and pick the one that suits you best. Just make sure you go through each of them. But there's none that you need to stay away from, particularly with Blue Guardian, because they don't waste their time with stupid ones. All right, guys, that's it for today's stream. Congratulations to the winner, to the winners. I hope you guys got some value from today's stream, and I showed you guys my strategy and a few different examples of it playing out on the chart, so you guys can see exactly how I trade. We trade this live every single day. If you want to trade it with me live, you guys can join the Discord on my YouTube. Just search Garland Trader on YouTube. You'll be able to find my channel, and then you'll also be able to join me in my Discord. I'll see you guys same time, same place next week, and we'll go over some more trades from this week, and I'll show you guys a few more tips and tricks on becoming consistent. Cheers, everyone.